Some women do not chase. They do not beg. They do not compete for fragments of attention. And yet, they are never forgotten. There is something in their silence that unsettles men. Something in their eyes that feels like a mirror held too close. It is not beauty alone, nor charm, nor the softness of their words. It is the depth they have walked through, the shadow they have met, and the power that comes when a woman integrates the darkest parts of herself into a crown of unshakable dignity. This is why men fear women who master their shadow. The archetypal woman who has done her shadow work is not a dreamer caught in the illusions of others. She has seen her rage, her envy, her desire, her hunger, and she has made peace with them. She does not repress, nor does she explode, she holds. Like a storm that knows it could tear the earth apart, but chooses instead to water the soil. In her presence, a man feels the trembling of his own unconscious. For he, too, carries shadows, insecurities buried beneath bravado, wounds disguised as pride, desires hidden behind masks of control. When he looks at her, he feels the ancient weight of projection. For Jung once said, "We do not see others as they are, we see them as we are." And so, in her silence, he meets his own reflection. In her strength, he encounters his own fragility. In her refusal to collapse, he is reminded of the boy still trapped inside his armor. At first, he may call her mysterious. He may circle her energy like a moth around a flame, unable to look away. But soon, that fascination sharpens into unease. Why does she not bend? Why does she not soften when he withdraws affection? Why does she not cling when he grows cold? She does not plead, because she knows her worth does not live in his approval. She does not chase, because she has mastered her hunger for validation. She has fed her own shadow, and in doing so, she has killed the need to be rescued. And so he trembles not because she is cruel, but because she is whole. For the most dangerous woman is not the one who seduces a man's body, but the one who exposes his soul. Carl Jung spoke of the anima and animus, the feminine within the man, the masculine within the woman. When a woman embraces her shadow, she embraces her animus as well, her authority, her logic, her independence, her fire. She is no longer split into fragments, light here, darkness there. She is integrated, and therefore complete. But when a man has not faced his anima, when he has not met the wild feminine within himself, he projects it onto women around him. He chases what he lacks. He idolizes, then demonizes. He loves, then fears. He calls her goddess one day, witch the next. And when he meets the woman who has integrated her own darkness, his projection shatters. For she does not carry his anima for him. She carries her own. This is the wound that terrifies him. The realization that he must face the feminine within himself, instead of outsourcing it onto her. And so begins the silent battle. Not of fists or words, but of energy. He may test her resolve. He may withdraw affection to see if she crumbles. He may provoke jealousy to see if her shadow consumes her. He may disappear, to see if absence breaks her spine. But her shadow has already swallowed those fears. She has sat alone in nights darker than his silence. She has heard the voice of abandonment and learned to answer with her own strength. She has known the hunger for validation and chosen instead to feed her own soul. His games, once powerful, now look like toys scattered on the floor. And this unsettles him, for he is used to control. But control slips like sand in the hands of a woman who does not need it. She becomes the mirror he cannot escape. When he tries to belittle her, he only exposes his own insecurity. When he tries to manipulate, he only reveals his own fear of being unseen. When he tries to dominate, he only confesses his fear of being small. The woman who masters her shadow is a mirror without distortion. She does not return his projections. She lets them burn themselves out in the silence of her gaze. And this silence is unbearable, for it forces him into confrontation with his own unmastered soul. And yet, paradoxically, this fear does not repel him. It binds him closer. For the human psyche is both terrified of and addicted to the one who awakens its unconscious. He may resent her independence, but he cannot stop circling it. He may call her too much, too strong, too mysterious. But he cannot forget her. For she represents what he has yet to integrate. She is the living embodiment of the wholeness he secretly craves but fears to claim. And so, fear becomes obsession. Distance becomes pursuit. Detachment becomes allure. For she is not fighting to be chosen. She has already chosen herself. The Stoics once said, "Control what you can, release what you cannot." The mature woman lives this truth. She does not beg for permanence in a world built on impermanence. She does not collapse when love leaves. For she knows love is never owned, it is only experienced. Trauma once taught her dependence. But shadow work taught her liberation. Where once she clung to those who abandoned her, now she blesses their departure. Where once she feared rejection, now she sees it as redirection. Her scars did not break her, they sculpted her into steel wrapped in silk. And so the man realizes, often too late, that he cannot possess what is not for sale. He cannot cage what was born to fly. He cannot manipulate what has already embraced its darkness. The woman who masters her shadow cannot be broken by absence, cannot be enslaved by desire, cannot be destroyed by rejection. For her power is not in being wanted, but in being whole. And this is the essence of empowerment. Not the denial of need, but the mastery of it. Not the rejection of love, but the refusal to shrink in its pursuit. In the end, men fear these women because they cannot control them. They cannot dominate what has already embraced the darkness within. They cannot terrify the woman who has made peace with fear itself. For she has walked through the shadows, kissed her demons, and emerged with a power that no man can grant, and no man can take away. The woman who walks away in silence isn't weak. She simply sees more.